So Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston will be representing the Indiana Fever at the Team USA winter camp that is designed to get the 2026 Team USA women's basketball US squad ready for the World Cup. Between obviously the 2028 cycle. So you're going to see a lot of younger players. You're going to see people getting their feet wet, kind of with international experience. And this is kind of like the first step, I would say, for Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston to taking steps to being a part of the senior team, like the real team, the 2028 team. And this is really big, really important. It's the first, like, kind of Caitlin Clark basketball related story where she's active and ready to go since July, maybe. After that, we were talking a lot about whether the team was being forthcoming about her status. It was a whole bunch of injury talk, a whole bunch of ramping up, and all this stuff. Uh, as she noted, when she was playing in golf last week, I want to say she's 100% ready to go. So that is very encouraging. And I gotta say, I think those Caitlin Clark USA jerseys are gonna fly off the shelves. Her being there with Leah Boston is really cool. I think that's going to be the centerpiece of the national team for a lot of years to come. Like that duo, and interesting. Kelsey Mitchell wasn't on there, but perhaps she had other commitments in the off season to where she was not going to be available. But you look at this entire list of people here. I'm going to pull it up right here, and it's a young stars kind of thing right here. Also, Stephanie White will be serving as an on-court coach, kind of like an assistant to Carol Lawson, who coaches Duke University. Big, for Stephanie White, trying to get in that pipeline. I can imagine she probably aspires to coach Team USA one day. But yeah, so let's take a look at it. The camp will feature some gold medalists coming back: Kalia Copper, Chelsea Gray, Brittany Griner, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young. Dearica Hamby, she was on the 3-on-3 squad. Brianna Jones from Atlanta, she was on the World Cup team. Leah Boston, they reference her junior and senior accomplishments as far as, like, being like a U age player. And then, you got college players. You got Lauren Betts. You got Cam Brink. You got Paige Beckers, fresh off her rookie year. You got Veronica Burton, Sonia Citron, Caitlin, as we mentioned, Kiki Iriafen, Rakia Jackson, Angel Reese, and Juju Watkins. So Juju, I heard, will be there kind of just in a, observing and kind of getting a feel for, what they want to do in those practices. She's not going to be playing or anything. But they're saying, more experience for Betts, Boston, Burton, Jackson, and Reese. A lot of junior competition stuff. The other coaches with the assistants is going to be Natalie Nakase, Nate Tibbetts made the finals with the Mercury, and Stephanie White. So I can imagine a lot of 3-point shooting on this team. Look at those guards. It's like, you got Caitlin, you got Veronica Burton, you got Paige Beckers, Sonia, you got Rakia Jackson, Kelsey Plum. There's gonna be people that can put the ball in the hole. Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, and the front line is very young outside of Brittany Griner. I don't know if Griner will end up actually making the team by then, but they're going to put a lot of this together. I can imagine there were probably some folks that are going to be on that 2026 squad that did not come to this camp. I think it's going to get interesting. And this is the first, like, real kind of minefield, I'd say, for the new era of women's basketball, of people that actually, no, this would be the second one. The first one was when Caitlin didn't go with the 24 team to, was it Paris? Yeah, Paris. That was the first one, right? But now that her entire generation is kind of like being put into the program, it's time kind of for a changeover. Like, you're clearing out Tarasi, you cleared out Sue Bird, a few summers ago. You cleared out, you got Griner headed out the door. So that's going to be interesting. Like, Aaliyah Boston kind of taking over that, and Cam Brink and Angel Reese, who's going to get those spots, because eventually one of these people is going to get cut on one of these years, and it's going to be worse than it was with the Caitlyn thing, because at that point, even like even though these people were wrong, they were like, oh, Caitlyn, she's gonna play in several more or whatever, right? Which, is never guaranteed or anything. But I think that looking at the potential nastiness down the road is much more interesting. These people will have been multi-time all-stars by this point, some MVP candidates, some first team all WNBA players, and perhaps there will be the breeding grounds for bad blood, rivalries around the league, perhaps friendships being forged, chemistry being built. Never underestimate the value of USA basketball in creating rivalries, alliances. We see the same thing on the men's side. So with the women's side, there's going to be a lot of competition there. Of course, Sue Bird is going to evaluate the players, they say, prior to naming the team for the World Cup. That's going to be next year, September 4th through 13th in 2026 in Berlin. I believe there are games like exhibition games in March, if I'm not mistaken, which would be, must see TV for, I think, all of us fans here. And it's interesting. Kaze is getting that role there, and they're all under Kara Lawson. So I don't know, man. I know Kara Lawson's been in the program a long time, and she's done her thing, been a coach for a while. But I think this group of coaches like kind of represents like a new spirit of coaching rather than Cheryl Reeve was in charge of the last one. It seemed like pretty iron fist. So we got Nate and Kaze, they're 3-point bombers. Stephanie White is known as a defensive coach. Didn't have quite a bad offense herself last year. And these folks are walking in here with like a lot of coach of the year stuff and success in their own right. But I'm very excited to see Caitlyn back on the court, man. It's been far too long. I think she's been just like people have banged their heads and forgot exactly who this woman is, was, and will be. They've talked themselves into all types of ridiculous things. They've seen like just like the team go on and have success that started with her arrival, and they try to turn it into something else. So Caitlin's going to turn a lot of heads. I feel like she's probably itching to get back out there. Is trained hard, looking for some live reps, and the USA basketball thing is another path of her career that isn't necessarily related to the fever. Like this is something like, all right, if you can't root for Caitlyn now, you'll never cheer her on. Like like you can't root for the country, you'll never like. I'm not a LeBron James fan, right? But when he put the USA uniform on, like that's when I rooted hard for LeBron James. Like, when it comes to the 2014, like Steph's my guy. I like Durant and some other players on the team or whatever. And going back even further, big Kobe LeBron rivalry, like we put all that to the side for the national team. And with Caitlyn actually in the mix now, I don't think there would be any reason for any resentment toward the team now. And it'll be interesting to see how popular the Team USA women's team has been. They have been the most dominant team, throughout the last, whatever, what have they won? 6 straight Olympics. There is no 2004 for them. Now, it was close last year. They almost messed around and lost to France, but they ended up getting the job done. And for me, I think Caitlyn will basically spring the program to another level. And by the time 2028 rolls around in LA, this will be one of the most talked about and watched teams of the Olympic Games and perhaps of all time. So, anyway, my name is Rich. What do you think about the players that are getting on there? And you're going to see Caitlyn and Angel perhaps playing together. You're going to see Paige and Caitlyn. You're going to see Reese and Boston battling it out. Man, there's a lot of people on here interested. Brittany Griner and Aliyah Boston, like they normally get the thumping when when they're out there. So Hamby is an interesting player going against Boston. They both play super hard. Veronica Burton, defensive animal, like, and practicing to get against her is going to get a lot of those guards like ready. You got Lauren Betts in there, still in college, and that's there's some interesting stuff here. So a lot to think about, and we will continue to monitor it. Anyway, my name is Rich. Peace. One lifetime.